I got something to say, and when I say it, you better listen up. It's your boy Frank Lee, aka Frank the host here, and you know what I'm doing. I'm interviewing some more local artists, indie artists, and I have someone special on the phone. I've had the privilege to be able to play them on my podcast. So introduce yourself.
My name is Ivory, and it's nice to be talking with you, Frank.
Ivory, yo, it is super dope to be able to talk to you as well. So we got to talk a little bit earlier, and you gave me your spiel of who you are and the things you're doing. Give me that spiel right now, so we start the conversation off just like that right now.
Okay. So hi again. My name is Ivory. My full name is John Ivory Jackson. So Ivory is my middle name. I'm from Richmond, Virginia. Singer, lyricist, and yeah, I got my start in music by way of like my father and my aunt. My dad's been in like 5 bands in my lifetime. He's a guitarist and a singer. And my aunt, when she was alive, she passed away in like '07, '06. She was a singer for 2 different bands, so I've always been exposed to music. And my mom loves music too, so that's kind of my upbringing around music. My inspiration, I listen to a myriad of artists. I know when we talked earlier, I gave you like some names, but then I was like, oh, there's so many other people I want to name too. So yeah, it's like a different. I listen to a lot of soul. I listen to a lot of alternative rock. I listen to a lot of K-pop, and like I could give you the names, but I feel like the list would go on. But yeah,
give us a few.
Okay, so I listen to Erykah Badu. Love Erykah Badu. I listen to James Blake. There's this really dope New Zealand artist. Her name is Kimbra. I listen to Circa Survive, spelled Circa, Survive. They're alternative rock. K-pop wise, I really love this group called Tiara, and they're no longer together, so it's sad for me. But at the same time, listen to Frank Ocean, SZA, of course, Beyonce. So I would say like my musical taste, they're very like varied, and for the most part, I touch on a lot of different genres. The one I'm trying to like gravitate more towards now is country, because I see that there's a beauty in country music. It's just hard for me to like get in tune with that right now, although I want to.
I think that a lot of times when you talk to different artists, I find that the artists that dibble and dabble in different genres are the ones who are more musically sound, if that makes any type of sense. If thinking about like great artists like a Patti LaBelle, who had country hits. Soul, of course, she has soul as well, but R&B is more. It is country. It is country too. R&B is a little bit of country as well. But like dope artists like Pharrell. Pharrell is a dope artist.
Yeah, well versatile and a myriad of sounds. Yeah,
exactly. And I find that most artists that really do, like you said, everything you just said right now, I'm like, oh man, you have the potential to be as big as you want to be, because you're not intimidated or you're not afraid to cross over those lines. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you know what? I think, including myself in that, spectrum of artistry, but also understanding that, like, I'm still learning things as well. I do think that, like, as consumers or as fans or as people who support other people, we definitely got to give people the space to even want to explore those sounds, to be groundbreaking in whatever way people choose to be. But I think very often, especially because, we all have our own musical or sonic biases, it becomes this thing where, like, we inadvertently only look towards this one sound, or we expect a certain person to fit within this mode of what we consider to be an artist, versus allowing that person to, become an amalgamation of all the things that they find intriguing for themselves, and then giving them the space and the room to explore that sonically. For the most part, Yeah, for the most part, when I think about, being a Black artist, most times when people ask me about my music, they automatically, categorize me into R&B and soul, which is beautiful, but at the same time, I think if we can acknowledge that Black people aren't monolithic, then the Black artist isn't monolithic as well,
Yeah.
It's not just R&B and soul. It can be anything.
I love that. You're right. Man, you really got me inspired right now.
Thank you. I try.
That's good. That's good. Where do you grow? So you grew up in Richmond.
Mhm.
Where have you been? Where are you? Are you in the DMV area right now, or where are you at now?
Right now, I'm in Colonial Heights, Virginia. So I'm like 30 minutes away from Richmond.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I came back home last year. So to answer your first question, where have I been? Like a year and a half ago, I lived in New York, and then I moved to New Jersey, and then I ended up coming back home. And last year, I moved out to Los Angeles, and I was staying with friends, and then I came back home for Christmas. Last year was like a very pivotal point in mine and my family's lives because I just lost my youngest sister, of 12 years old. She would have been 13 this year. Thank you so much for your condolences. But it's been extremely hard, and when I left, literally I left right in the spur of everything. And I guess in a sense I was also running away, and just trying to keep my nose to the grindstone and trying to focus on my music so that I didn't necessarily have to heal through the pain by way of actually going through the pain. So Christmas came around in Los Angeles, and I was like, no, I got to go back home. I can't do Christmas here without my family. I need to be home. And I've been in Colonial Heights since the 24th of December. And, yeah, so I kind of been a little bit all over the place. And I'm about to actually move to Georgia next week so that I can, explore what Georgia is before I make my way back to L.A.
Wow. And so, okay. For every place you've been, was it always for music, or was it for work, or what was it for?
So when I initially moved to New York, it was because my then best friend and her boyfriend, we decided, okay, we want to go somewhere that's big and metropolitan so that we can pursue our music. And what better place than New York? It's literally right near everything. Like literally going up to New York, you streamline through Northern Virginia, Maryland, D.C., you streamline through all of these places, even New Jersey, even I feel like, isn't Delaware before there? Yeah, so Delaware too. So you hit all these places just to get up to New York. So it seemed like it made sense. And then I was with two people who I love dearly, and we were actually staying, in Brooklyn. And so initially when I moved up there, this is before I wanted to get serious about my music. So I was like half in, half out. Didn't really know my own sound. Didn't really know what I wanted to accomplish with music. So whereas I wouldn't even say we did too many shows up there, but whereas they were going to different events and trying to network, I was, because I'm also an introverted person, in the house, working in dialysis and still trying to figure out what my music is and trying to be in this hugely densely populated city and navigate not really being a people person in that respect. So so I really didn't touch too much on music outside of recording in New York. When I got to New Jersey, it was different. The vibe was so different. For the most part, I mean, although Newark is still kind of populated and they still have their own sense of super extroverted energy, it still felt like there was space for me to develop into who I needed to be for myself as Ivory. As well as John Ivory Jackson. I had more room to breathe in New Jersey, and I made a lot of dope connections out there with influencers as well as people who are artists and I was able to kind of focus more so on what I wanted my sound to be in New Jersey. So that's when I started doing more performing and everything. And then taking those two lessons from, being in a place that made me extremely uncomfortable like New York and being in a place like New Jersey, I was able to come back home with that newfound perspective and kind of like go for gold in my hometown, which allowed me to perform at events like they had this one event called the Proving Grounds that I was able to perform at here in my hometown, as well as having my own event here in Richmond, Virginia called Mirrors alongside two of my really good friends, Noliak Yasin and Claire Alana. And so, being in those two spaces, having those experiences, bringing that knowledge home on how I can be gung-ho about my career, still maybe not know what my sound is, but still be pursuing like a more definitive version of who I am and being more comfortable in my sound and my music. I had to go through those things. So then when I got to LA, and LA is somewhat like New York, is very busy, but I was able to, have had that experience in New York and had that experience in New Jersey to where I kind of curated my own experience within California. And I performed more often. I was out networking at events that I actually wanted to be at. I wasn't so caught up in the fast-pacedness of the city, and I was still able to take my time and grow in whatever ways I needed to grow, and then still take the lessons that I learned in LA and bring them back home and use them here. And then also I'm going to streamline that information to Georgia when I get there. So I feel like I answered your question, hopefully.
You did amazing. I love it. Man, that's good. So one of the things that I had a young man by the name of John Crespo come to the show, and actually on my spotlight, and he talks about his experience in LA. Actually, it didn't even make the spotlight. It was we didn't use it, but he was talking about like going out to these spots. And if anybody listening to this, when people listen to this, I want you guys to catch this. You have to go to these spots with the plan. With the plan, you just can't go out there and be like, hey, whatever. You got to go out there with a plan.
Yeah.
And you have to find out where you fit in, find out where know where you're going, and then go out there and do it. You got to network. You got to go out there and do it and make it happen.
Absolutely. If I could touch on that really quickly, because I say all of this, hoping that I don't come off as sounding pretentious, and then also hoping that the message is heard from a person that's actually going through the journey. I still haven't, aside from like streaming my music, I still haven't made money from performing, so I'm still trying to figure out all of that. Also, that I can generate a steady source of income via my music. But what I will say is that point that you just said rings true. One of the things that I've learned from being in all of these spaces is that I am where I am, and it doesn't matter what the location is. I'm still going to be at that space that I'm at unless I intend to be something other than where I am or be something other than what I am. And it's not to say don't find solace in who you are at any given time, but, to have a goal and to be intentful about that goal and to, align yourself in spaces or with places or with people that kind of coincide with that goal is necessary in order to obtain that goal. I think, one of the biggest drawbacks of me being in New York without, actually having a plan of how I wanted to go about things was I was just moving. I wasn't being strategic in anything. I wasn't, saying this is what I intend to do by going to this particular place. And 9 times out of 10, especially for some people like me, I'll go to these places without actually really wanting to be there. And I'm already drained. I can't give anything more because I'm only here because I thought something was going to happen rather than being intentful and saying, all right, well, what is this place known for? Does this align with what I want to have accomplished or what have you? even when it comes to people, like a lot of times I would be in situations with people, or I would hear about situations between people that I knew and people that they met where, you know, everything was fine at the beginning. Everything was amazing at the beginning. But when it came down to, like, how we can be a benefit towards each other's common good, people really didn't align in, you know, conducive ways. More often than not, you know, it's not to say that everybody has to be on the same wavelength as you or as me, but I think, you know, you'll be doing yourself a disservice if you work with somebody that isn't necessarily able, or, you know, extend yourself to people that aren't necessarily able to get you where you want to go. Still have those relationships, but also be intentful with the ones that you can have that can take you where you need to be for yourself, you know?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Two things. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna switch it up a little bit. All right, so you got one song out right now, and then I want to talk about something I see on your IG page. Talk about Bedrock, right?
So Bedrock has been a song of that song. I love that song, but I also think about it as like a space in my life that is so hard for me to tap back into. So I'm gay. And literally there was this guy that I was talking to at this one particular time who just wasn't really giving me too much, but also in like my way of thought, I started to fantasize about like what this could be and like where this was going, and just really getting caught up in the fantasy of things. And so Bedrock was an exploration into, or is an exploration into, just this idea of like, you know, wanting to be with a person who you might have history with, but then also not really knowing how to navigate that because this person isn't really giving you what you need in order to feel fulfilled through this interaction. And then also just, you know, having the onus of it all to say, this is what I want. I hope you can remember these times that we've had with each other. I gave you all of my time. And it's funny now that you don't want to give me your time, but I'm still, like, I'm in it. I'm here. So Bedrock actually is produced by one of my friends, Osamu. He's, like, a really talented producer, and I'm excited to see where he goes in his career, as well as I'm excited for our project that we have coming out possibly at the beginning of next year, entitled Outlier. Like, he produced the whole thing. This man is super talented. So, yeah, that's the gist on Bedrock. And, yeah.
Cool. Dope. All right, so one thing I see on your IG page is fashion. So are you into fashion? Is that something that you also do as well? Or is it like that's just who you are?
So when it comes to fashion, like, I never think of myself as a fashionable person because I don't know. I never thought of myself as such. But, you know, one of the blessings of moving to LA is having, and even New York and New Jersey, was having friends that I met along the way who just don't need their clothes anymore. And I have not, like, I don't believe that I've been actually shopping in an actual store in maybe, I want to say 2 years. A lot of the clothes that I have, are from either friends that I've known, or they're either from the Goodwill. I definitely see the reasoning behind buying new and expensive clothes, but I know for myself, my pockets just can't afford it right now.
Yeah,
so
I think count for that.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I got to get in where I fit in, and, you know, instead of throwing things away, instead of like, and even for myself, instead of like getting rid of nice quality clothes, I will ask one of my friends, hey, do you want this? Or I ask my siblings, hey, do you want this? Instead of just trashing it, because I don't know, maybe you can do something with it that I couldn't. And so, like, when it comes to fashion, one of the things that I realized when I was in LA is that, I feel good when I look good. For the most part, I dress normal. In my day-to-day, like I'm in either my Instacart T-shirt from me working with Instacart 3 years ago in some jeans and like my Vans, or I'm in sweatpants or something. I don't know. I'm just chilling. But when I got to LA, it was like more of this initiative for me to like want to curate an image for myself. And so for the most part, when it came to like me dressing up, I would just throw things together. And then in the moment, I'd be like, yo, this is so far outside of my comfort zone. I know I need to look this way because I need to get out of my comfort zone. I need to express myself not only sonically, but also visually. And not just in regards to like my music videos. I need to have things that make me feel good as an artist.
Yeah.
And a lot of times those would just be pieces that I would, throw together in some way, shape, or form.
That's dope. That's dope. I respect that. A lot of people actually that I know as a recent, my good friends, his wedding, man, we did, all of us of us were in Goodwill, like pretty much Goodwill stuff.
Goodwill's the plug.
Yo,
it is the plug.
It was crazy. And, it's funny because we made several magazines from his wedding. Legit, 7 magazines. I was like, yo,
all
this
from
is
looks
crazy.
that you could get for a cheaper price than like killing yourself in your pockets.
I might have spent $30.
Look.
I might have spent $30. Like, and I think the $30 because I need a new belt.
And look, and then like on Wednesdays, they be having it to where special tagged items are half off, or you can get it for $1. And I'm just like, all right, look out. I appreciate it.
That's a move right there. That is the move. Cool. All right. So we talked about fashion. We talked about your music. What are your goals and what are your goals coming up? And then also I want you to tell me what do you want to convey through your music and your life.
Very wonderful questions. I love talking about who I am and what I want to do. So thank you. But my goals for. Could you actually repeat the first question for me?
Your goals. What do you want to do?
Oh, my goals.
Yeah, your goals as an artist or individual, like your personal goals, and then the next question. Go ahead.
As an artist and as a person, I really want to aspire to be my best version of myself and be like financially stable and be able to sustain my livelihood by means outside of working a 9-to-5. Like, I don't knock anybody for working a 9-to-5, but I realize when I'm in places that are, curating somebody else's dreams or like maintaining somebody else's ideals, I end up feeling drained. And, I have such a wealth of creative, like, possibilities within my mind and within my heart that it really just wouldn't make sense for me to continue to, place myself in situations where I'm being drained, but I'm not getting anything back aside from a paycheck. Like right now, I'm at the space where I need to have money so I can get back to where I want to get to in LA. But I'm thinking about going back into dialysis. But at this particular time, I just have to, like, I'm going into it with the mindset of I have to have balance in my music. I can't just solely commit myself to paying bills and not give myself to my music in a real way. I have to do that differently. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with it, but ideally a goal of mine is to not even have to rely on work and be able to just sustain myself by way of my creative endeavors. What I want to have happen through my music, though, and also through the way I live my life and, me as a person, is to just generate a sense of, like, not even, like, self-awareness to the point that people have to, like, always be on 100 with themselves or whatever the case is. Like, I really want to document the human experience by, my own lens, of course, because I can't talk about it from anybody else's perspective. But in doing that, I hope to heal. I hope to heal myself, and I hope to heal others. And anyone who knows me knows that I'm a proponent. I'm one of the people that are huge in propelling and advocating for healing. Like, one of the things that I always say is, you can't hope to inspire and heal if you're not living in your own truth. So if I aspire to inspire, if I aspire to heal, then I have to do my own form of healing. And why not, if I want that same blessing or that same peace of heart or that same peace of mind for myself, why shouldn't I want to convey that sonically? So when it comes to my music, I want people to hear my music, even if it is like, morbid content, as is the case with like one of the tracks that I released called C'est la vie. I had an existential crisis, and in having that crisis, I wrote a song about, our time being finite. But even in that, I want people to take away the fact of like, I say, ride it till the wheels fall off, ride this life till the wheels fall off. Like, I always try to provide solutions through my music so that people can do whatever form of intrinsic healing within themselves. And even with my project Outlier, because I don't feel like I fit in anywhere, and to be an outlier is to essentially be like an outcast. You kind of are on the sidelines. You see a lot of things happening, but you aren't necessarily a part of any one thing fully, but you are there to help move things along in whatever way it needs to be moved along. I just want to get perspective. I want to get perspective in that project. So that's another goal that I'm working on, having that project done before the beginning of next year so that I can release it next year. Because I know, like, lyric-wise, content-wise, feel-wise, I can offer so much of myself towards the betterment of, grand plan, humankind, mankind. It's not just about people that listen to my music. I want to touch people around the world. So
that's good. You will. That's good. I actually I mess with that. I really do. I respect that.
Thank you.
And I have no word to say. I have a lot to say, but I respect that, and I can see you going far. So, and really impacting a lot of people's lives. So,
Thank
I
you.
hope nothing but the best for you. Nothing but the best for you, and I'm excited that you took the time out to be on the show with us, and tell everybody really quick where they can find all your music, and where they can find you on social media.
All right. So thank you for having me on the show. And if you want to check out my music, you can find me on SoundCloud at Ivorie, spelled I-V as in Victor, O-R-I-E as in Edward, music. I'm on every streaming platform. I have Bedrock out right now. I'm actually going to be releasing a new track sometime this month. I haven't really decided on a date, but I'm going to talk to my manager about it, and she and I are going to get on one accord with the date. But you can find me on all streaming platforms under the moniker of Ivorie, still spelled I-V as in Victor, O-R-I-E as in Edward. If you want to follow me on social media, my handle is Ivorie J, spelled the same way, just with the J at the end to differentiate me from every other Ivory in the world. But yeah, I hope you guys check out my music. Thank you again for having me on your podcast because, like I said, my form of healing, I want to do it sonically, but I think exposing people to artists and giving artists like a chance to even talk about themselves and their music, as well as like what their aspirations are, who their inspirations are, and what their goals are. I think that that's healing in of itself. So thank you for healing me and letting me have in this conversation, and thank you for healing every artist that came before and that will come after.
Oh man, appreciate it. And this is what we do. We really appreciate you coming to the show, and I'm glad that we can connect with different people. Tell your family, tell your friends, come this way as well. We thank you so much. We send blessings to you and your family. If you need anything from us, let us know. All right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. Thank you so much. No one told you. I want to tell you guys we love you. God bless.
Love you guys.